for Spiritual Living Leesburg. My name is Renee Berger. I'm a community member hailing from Boston, Massachusetts. We're so glad that you joined us today. Our theme for this year is Living Everyday Wonder. The focus for this month is nature. The title of our talk today is The Water of Life, given by our spiritual director, Charlene Banks. We are so glad that you joined us today. Please feel free to add to the chat or in the comments any prayer requests or celebrations that you'd like to include later in the service when we provide our community spiritual mind treatment, which is a form of affirmative prayer. We invite you to get comfortable and relax into this moment as we will begin our service.
Please join us as we create our sacred space. We set our intentions of deepening into our awareness and practice of our 5 pillars of spiritual living by lighting this candle in our virtual world. Our first pillar is sacred study, represented by the divine quality of truth. We use this pillar to recognize the importance of an open mind and the power of our minds. The second pillar is affirmative prayer, represented by the divine quality power. This pillar honors the power of prayer in our daily lives. Our third pillar is meditation and the divine quality of peace. This pillar reminds us of the importance of meditation and the peace we feel when we quiet our minds. The fourth pillar is circulation and the divine quality of life. We know that the great law of circulation works in our lives. As we give, so shall we receive. And the fifth pillar is sacred service and the divine quality of love. This pillar affirms our call to be of service to our world as we see through the eyes of love. Let us close our eyes as we bless this sacred space and our time together. As we weave each of these pillars of spiritual living into our service today, may they deepen our own spiritual practices of study, prayer, meditation, circulation, and service, expanding our minds and our hearts to the 5 divine qualities of truth, power, peace, life, and love. We also bless everyone who made our service possible today and everyone in attendance. May the energy of love that is generated here bless everyone abundantly, and so it is.
And so it is indeed. Welcome, welcome. I'm Charlene Banks, your spiritual director, and thank you, Renee, for inviting everybody to settle in. I'm hoping that your Sunday is starting off amazing. And I just invite you now to just settle into your chairs and just take that opening where we kind of called forth that sacred space within us, and let's deepen into it a little further. So now is the time where we enter into our community practice of meditation. We have some gongs and bells that we play, reminding us to get even deeper. So close your eyes and allow yourself a deep cleansing breath. Just letting the energy of this sound wave move through us. Letting it move through our being, harmonizing with the tones. In this awareness, I would like you to call up whatever quality of the divine that you would like to amplify in this moment. And let each little tone be yet another layer of that amplification of that quality. The qualities I speak of are always with us, whether it's love, peace, beauty, power, abundance, joy, imagine that every cell of your being is awakening and recognizing this quality. A vibration moves through you. It's calling forth this quality which already is within you right now. Anything unlike it flees in the presence of this higher truth. Wholeness, gratitude, high awareness, this is our nature. This is who we are. We allow the recognition of that, the recognizing of that. That truth of who we really are. Just breathe that in fully and feel it. Allow it. Give thanks for it. We just bless this knowingness, this awareness as it has entered into our consciousness to allow us to bless everything we do today with this new found energy, this higher truth of who we are. We're not the same person that sat down in this meditation. We emerge renewed and aware of who we really are. And as you bring your awareness back into your body, wiggling your fingers and toes just to get back in here, and opening your eyes with gratitude for this awareness. And so it is.
Good morning, CSL Leesburg. Leah here. This is a song by Meredith Buck. And as always, or as often, I'd like to invite you to sing along when the parts become familiar. Lay yourself down in the rocks now. Let your body down in the river. Listen for the drumming on the other side. Lose yourself in the meantime. Lay yourself down in the rocks now. Let your body down in the river. Listen for the drumming on the other side. Lose yourself in the meantime. Lay yourself down in the rocks now. Let your body down in the river. Listen for the drumming on the other side. Lose yourself in the meantime. Listen. Let the river be your guide. Let the water decide. Lose yourself in the meantime. Listen. Let the river be your guide. Let the water decide. And lose yourself in the meantime. Listen. Listen, 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 listen. Lay yourself down in the rocks now. Let your body down in the river. Listen for the drumming on the other side. Lose yourself in the meantime. Lay yourself down in the rocks now. Let your body down in the river. Listen for the drumming on the other side. Lose yourself in the meantime. Lay yourself down in the rocks now. Let your body down in the river. Listen for the drumming on the other side. Lose yourself in the meantime. Lay yourself down in the rocks now. Let your body down in the river. Listen for the drumming on the other side. Lose yourself in the meantime. Lay yourself down in the rocks. Let the river be your guide. Let your body down. Let the water decide. For the drumming on the other side. Lose yourself in the meantime. Lay yourself down in the rocks. Let the river be your guide. Let your body down. Let the water decide. For the drumming on the other side. Lose yourself in the meantime. Lay yourself down in the rocks now. Let your body down in the water. Listen for the drumming on the other side. Lose yourself in the meantime.
Oh my goodness. I felt like I was on a retreat in the woods with the drums I think we've had service. Let's just call it a day. Wow, Leah. Good Lord, she's amazing. So, welcome to this talk about water. And I just imagined while she was playing that we were down by the river listening to our ancestors telling us things that we need to know, because technically we are here, but we are always in the presence of the ancestors that came before us. They are also us. And that's all we have to do is turn that inner ear within and listen. And then we talk about being by the riverside. I mean, the water of life, that's the title of this talk today, discusses how, well, our bodies are 70% water. And so is the planet. I don't think that's a mistake. I mean, it's just interesting how what we know about the macro of things is also true about the micro or the personal of things. And so if this planet is 70% water, and think about how much of that, though, is drinkable, right? A small fraction, because most of it is ocean water, salt water, which is not fit for human consumption. And so just thinking about that makes us really, or it should make us care for ourselves and care for the planet, to make sure that water that is drinkable remains drinkable, and that there's plenty of it for everyone. That's that world that works for everyone in action. Because many times, I mentioned last week how we can take for granted often the way that we just go over to the water, the filtered water from the beautiful refrigerator that's already cold, and we put it in our glass and we just drink it down like it's nothing. But it's everything. All of the pieces that it took to get that water into our glass and then into our bodies, well, it's a precious flow. And yet there are parts of this world, possibly this country, I know for a fact, in Michigan, they can't drink their water because the misbehavior of folks who were in charge of it. It's full of lead and harming the children. So there's that issue. And then across the world, we have people that are taking that jug I mentioned last week and walking down to the river miles away and taking water into the jug, and that water is not necessarily guaranteed to be drinkable. They bring it back to their village and do what they need to do to keep it or to make it drinkable. Waterborne illnesses rampant through such societies that don't have the infrastructure that we have created for ourselves in the West. And so conscious awareness of A, we're mostly water, B, the water that is mostly over the earth is not drinkable, and C, what can we do in this age of global warming when we can see videos of certain reservoirs and lakes just drying up? Lake Mead, an example, where they showed, previous, maybe 5-10 years ago, how vast that reservoir was, and now how it's a fraction of it, and projecting the amount of time it'll take before they're down to their last drop. I mean, it's a pretty big emergency all across the land, and it's kind of scary, which is why many times we'll turn away from it, because it's hard to look at, hard to watch, and our little selves, we feel like, well, what can I do? I can't do anything about it. There are things we can do, and we start with first the conscious awareness of, yes, without water, we shall die. So, and what is the number? I think I was reading, you can live 3 days without water. 3 days is all you have. Better find that water. Or you can live maybe 21. Without food, you can last a little longer. Without water, not so much. So this is one of the most vital resources. In fact, when they study exoplanets, they're looking for evidence of water. When we landed rovers onto Mars and we're looking around, we're looking for evidence of water, because the way that our bodies are composed and the way our environment is composed, we could not live without water. So therefore, if they find water somewhere, then they might find life Again, it's the kind of life that we're used to. It's based on our chemical chart of elements. So I don't know anything about a chart of elements that is not carbon based. I don't know. I don't know how that works, but all we know is this: for us to live and move and have our beingness anywhere, you better have access to water. So our oceans, our seas, our lakes, even if the ocean does not provide direct water for us, it does provide the water for the fishes that we eat, right? And then it does provide water. It provides a whole ecosystem for the exchange of elements through the atmosphere. So it's very important. All the water is just super important. I guess that's my point. So with science, we can help us remember and know the properties of water that we need to survive. And with our spirituality, we ensure that we want to maintain this water, or the source of life that's physical on this planet. We want to protect it, maintain it for all people. And so we are the custodians of this precious resource. In fact, Science of Mind and the Art of Life by Ernest Holmes, he says, just as water purifies itself as it flows, so the impure stream of our mental life becomes purified by applied constructive thinking. It may well be that a lack of circulation in the physical body is a result of mental stagnation, while mental stagnation is the result of a lack of a spiritual perception. Like, he just laid down a whole bunch right there. But let's start at the top. We're told don't drink standing water. So if you're caught in the woods, unawares and unprepared, you might not have your bottle of water in your little camel backpack. It might be empty. So you go to the stream. Now, if this is a standing stream, the knowledge is don't drink that water. It's not moving. It's not running water. It has impurities. You can guarantee you're going to get sick. So you have to boil it, right? You boil out the impurities. And so what Ernest Holmes is saying, that our minds are similar, that when we have stagnant thoughts in our mind, if we do not practice our spiritual practices like meditation, where you sit and you detach from your thoughts and you watch them go. You don't hold on to anything. You don't hold on to thoughts or particular ideas or resentments or regrets. You don't hold on. You let them go through you. You let them pass by. We are not our thoughts. We are the ones that observe the thoughts. And when we remember that, an idea, a feeling, a thought, an impulse, we can watch it. And that micro moment of awareness allows us to choose differently. Are you reactive? Are you like me in that Burger King parking lot flipping somebody off and, oh, I caught myself, I'm still thinking about that because it was so out of character these days. But if that is one of those stimulus response without thought. But Ernest Holmes is saying that if we are able to watch these thoughts pass by us, give that moment of observer, of subject-object awareness, then it's not so personal anymore. Then you can get curious and you're allowing these thoughts to flow through you, and you're becoming more pure because no thought has gained a big following of your attention. And then he teaches us in a whole different talk, in a whole different book, he teaches also that the thoughts that we cultivate are the thoughts that we want to experience. He says that a trained thought is more powerful than an untrained thought. Well, wait, what's a trained thought? A trained thought is something that you have consciously chosen. It's an affirmation that you say to yourself when you're doing your practices. It is an idea about who you want to be, how you want to show up in this world, and you hold that thought. And other thoughts come along, but we allow them to pass. Yes, that guy was being a butthole on the freeway. Allow it to pass. Yes, this is not what I really want to experience. Observe that and allow it to pass. And we keep our attention on the trained thought. And what's going to happen over time, what you're going to see is what you've been focusing on. What you think about, you bring about. And that's what we're talking about here. So back to his quote. So a lack of circulation in the physical body is a result of mental stagnation. So let's ask ourselves, gee, do I have anything stiff, anything clogged? That could be a physical representation of what I've been thinking about. Because the body responds to our mental atmosphere. It responds. Our physical bodies respond to what we've been thinking about. And you know this could be true for you too. Think about those times when you've been a little bit stressed out and you might be more prone to a headache. If you feel like someone's trying to get one over on you, and every time you're in a conversation with them, you're hypervigilant, you might feel your heart rate go up. And then that causes the stress response, which we've talked about before, that can only do damage. And so what we do to counteract that is the relaxation response. The relaxation, when we take our mental attention and we put it on something we do want, we meditate, we train our bodies to relax. Certain endorphins are released then. And then certain chemicals are released from the pituitary gland, and those are healing. They heal us in the same way that stress might have damaged us. And so we think about what we want to experience. We bring that about in our lives. And when something comes across us that we do not want, we acknowledge it and let it go. If there's any action that must be taken, do that action and let it go. We do not hold on to it or bring it up and talk about it to everybody. I mean, sure, bring it up to your spiritual practitioner, bring it up to your therapist, pray about it once or twice. But what we don't want to do is dwell on the thing that we don't want. Let it inform us for what we would rather have instead. Like in other words, dwell on it long enough to take notes. Here's what I don't want. Got it. All right, you can go taking notes. Because then we can take our energy and focus it again. We can train our thought, and we can grab our attention every time we notice it straying, and we refocus it again. This is a ongoing every day for the rest of your life. I wish I could say all you have to do is do it once and you're healed and you can go along and just not have to watch your thoughts. Nope. It's kind of like eating every meal. If you want to stay healthy, every meal you kind of have to keep an eye on it. You don't have to obsess, but you could keep your eye on continually doing the thing that's good for you. And then it becomes like second nature. And then your friends and your family, oh, wow, you look different. What changed? And you can either tell them or don't tell them. I say tell them. Tell them, well, I'm on a diet. Really? What kind of diet? Well, I'm off of negative thinking. Yeah, I have a diet. That's bad for me. Can't do that. I break out in negative experiences when I have negative thinking. I'm allergic to it, so I'm off it now. This is pretty awesome. So wait a second. If our thoughts can change our bodies, what can thoughts do to external things? What about this water of which we speak? Is it possible that water itself can reflect the thoughts that we have and can do something different depending on our thoughts? Well, yes, the answer is yes. And there is a Japanese man named Masaru Emoto who did some experiments. He wondered too. He said, I wonder how our energy affects other things. Let's test water. And so what he did, he went to a pool or to a lake, looked at the water, froze the water, and then looked at the crystalline. When you freeze something, it forms little crystals. And then he looked at those crystals through a microscope, and he took pictures of the formation of the crystals. And well, I'll just show you a video. I think I wouldn't do it justice if I just gave it to you, using my paraphrasing. So I'm going to share my screen, and I have just a 5-minute video. We have a little time. Hold on. I can show it to you. Hold on a sec. There we go. Watch this.
Japanese researcher Mr. Masaru Emoto from his book, The Message from Water. Mr. Emoto's work provides factual evidence that human vibrational energy, thoughts, words, ideas, and music affect the molecular structure of water. Please remember that water comprises over 70% of a mature human body and covers the same amount on our planet. Water is the very source of all life. This photo shows the beautifully formed geometric design of the Yushi Spring water. This next photo is from the Shimanto River, the last clean spring in Japan. Notice the extraordinary geometric forms. The fact that the molecular structure of water can be affected by our consciousness, our intent, and our sounds is extremely important. This photo is from the Mount Cook Glacier in New Zealand. Mr. Emoto has been visually documenting these molecular changes in water by means of his photographic techniques. He freezes droplets of water, then examines them under a dark field microscope that has photographic capabilities. His work clearly demonstrates the diversity of the molecular structure of water and the effects of the environment upon the structure of the water. This photo is from the fountain in Lourdes, France. This photo is from contaminated water from the Yodo River in Japan. In this photo, we can compare the contaminated water with clean stream water. Look at the difference. Mr. Emoto decided to see what effects music would have upon the structure of water. He placed distilled water between two speakers for several hours while playing different music and then photographing the crystals that formed after the water was frozen. This photo is of water being exposed to Beethoven's Pastorale. This photo is the effect of Bach's Air for the G string on the water. This photo is water exposed to Chopin's Farewell Song. This next photo is water being exposed and affected to music that was designed for healing. This photo is of water being exposed to the Kawachi folk dance. This photo shows the effect of heavy metal music upon the water. Here now we can compare the effects of healing versus heavy metal music and what happens to the water molecules. Mr. Emoto decided to see how thoughts and words affected the formation of untreated distilled water crystals by typing words onto paper and then taping this paper onto glass bottles overnight. This photo shows the effects of the words, "Thank you." This next photo shows the effects of the words, "Love and Appreciation." This photo shows the effects of the words, "You make me sick, I will kill you." And here we can compare the effects of "thank you" with the "you make me sick, I will kill you." Very, very different geometric forms being incurred through the intention. Now this photo is of a very polluted and toxic water from the Fujiwara Dam. Here now is the same water from the Fujiwara Dam after a Buddhist monk had offered a prayer over it. Prayer, that sound coupled with intention, seems to have an extraordinary ability of restoring water to its natural, harmonious geometric symmetry. And in this photo we can compare the toxic water and then the effects of praying over the water.
So that, my dears, now if you want to look that up, just type in Masaru Emoto. Sorry, I have to close that window. All right. Yes. So Masaru Emoto, just type that in and you too will be able to see lots and lots of research. I had bought the book years ago when I was first studying this, and I just find it to be amazing because, and the thing about it though, I was looking up the skeptics because I like to read both sides of this. And I'm like, well, do we have any peer reviews? What's going on? Well, there's nobody objects to the actual experiment. What they object to is our calling it beautiful. They're like, well, so you looked at the crystals that were frozen from water that didn't have any sort of intention, and then after it did have an intention, and you're rating it on beauty, and they go, beauty is so subjective. And I would submit this. We are really looking at the geometric stability or the balanced nature of the crystal itself. You could see something that looks a bit chaotic and you can tell that that looks chaotic, malformed, not balanced. And then you can look at a crystal that is beautiful because it has balanced attributes across the entire crystal. In fact, we humans were placed on the planet with an intrinsic idea of beauty. We're looking at symmetric balance. In fact, they've done a study where Brad Pitt is beautiful because, and they did calculations on how far apart his eyes are, and it's perfectly balanced in symmetry. That it's just math that makes us think Brad Pitt is cute. I thought, okay, whatever it takes. But that whole symmetry thing is a thing. In fact, I was reading about, we consider beauty, imagine you're walking in a forest and you come to a clearing, and then what you see are beautiful mountains, green grass, mountains beautiful being jutting up in the sky, right? Green grass and a lake that has a waterfall that feeds the lake. Why do we think that's beautiful? Studies have shown that the fact that there's green grass means that we will find sustenance. The fact that there's running water means we will find sustenance. And the openness of it, the prairie, the big prairie, that is, there's something in us that recognizes beauty in that scenario. And the people who have done these reviews of what is it that humans find beautiful, they've said, these elements represent everything we need for survival. And that's why we find it beautiful. And perhaps someone who's symmetrically beautiful is likely free of disease, and that would just encourage us to procreate and, sustain ourselves. It's not a mistake that intrinsically we know beauty. And it's not a mistake that the principles, the highest principles that we teach in Science of Mind, and that can be found through every religion, even through philosophers' studies. There are high ideas that are most likely, if we embrace them, they're most likely to propel us forward and to support our lives. And that there are lower ideas that are most likely to cause us to kill each other. And no one argues about that. No, and when someone says, well, I have a menu, which would you like? Would you like a little love or would you like a little hate? No one chooses hate. And so there's a reason why internally, each of us just knows what's good. We recognize good. We move higher, and our trajectory is always for the higher and for the better as we move through life. And so as we enjoy each other in this, it's crazy that there's time and then there's no time. But as we enjoy these teachings with one another in our community, and we reinforce each other learning about all that we can learn in this community, and we test these theories. I do not say, just believe me, do what I tell you. Don't think, do what I say. I would never do that. Each of us are imbued with an intrinsic understanding of how it all works. And we are here to do something specific and amazing. And I'm here to say, listen to you. Listen to you. You sit and you listen and you connect to the divine. You find out what is yours to do, and then you get up and you do it. And we support every move that is for the highest and best for this planet, because we're here to make the world a better place. Baby steps, maybe, or big steps. And we are doing it together one by one. So I wish I had more time, but we are out of time. Yeah, I could give you quotes and stuff. I think that video really did it for us. So let's just go into prayer. I see people are putting lots of things into the chat, and I'm looking for any requests for prayer. All right, let's go in. I know that right now, right where we are, we're perfectly in our divine appointed spot, that there are no mistakes, and that the divine hand that flung the stars and the galaxies all across creation is the same hand that spun each of us into existence. And I know that this divine energy is the gravity that holds all of us together. And each and every one of us are never separate from this divine energy. We are emanations. We are specialized examples of the goodness of God, of Mother, Father, Goddess, whatever you choose to call it. So right here, right now, we are part of it. And so in this space of knowing our power, I speak my word of power into this energy, knowing that whatever I speak into is simply creating a mold for the law to flow into and to reveal. My word has power. So I speak my word for every person on this planet that is feeling a sense of lack, whether it be in health or a lack of wealth or a lack of support or materials or whatever it is. If they're feeling lack, I speak my word of an awareness of their true nature, that in them they're awakening to their abundant nature. And as they look around them, they see opportunities that were heretofore unseen, that with new eyes, they're helping each other. We all help each other. We find community and we follow wherever we are led by Spirit. We follow. And when Spirit says walk, we walk. Even though we don't have the big picture, even though we don't know where we're going, we move in the direction of our highest good. I speak my word for Cootie, that he is whole, perfect, and complete, revealing his oneness with wholeness, and just knowing and seeing him and all the people around him as supporting his ability to walk, run, dance, sing, and shout just like before, even better. And anybody else who is feeling any lack of anything, I know right where you are, God is, and the abundance is, and everything we need is given to us. With this awareness and knowledge, I just give thanks that I get to watch as the truth of my words begin to unfold in life, because as I see it, so shall it be. And the law always says yes. So I say thank you, life. Thank you, Father, Mother, God. I release my word into the law, knowing it's already done. And so it is. Amen. Ashe. And back to Leah. I can share my screen.
Love is the water that wears down the rock. Love is the water that wears down the rock. Love is the power that won't be stopped. Love is the water that wears down the rock. You say your heart's been turned to stone. You say you want to be left alone. You say love only made you weep and moan. But let me tell you something that you know in your bones. Love is the water that wears down the rock. Love is the water that wears down the rock. Love is the power that won't be stopped. Love is the water that wears down the rock. You say your soul feels like a dry riverbed. Stop waiting for the water long ago. You say you better pray all night for the rain instead. Love comes like a tidal wave over your head. Love is the water that wears down the rock. Love is the water that wears down the rock. Love is the power that won't be stopped. Love is the water that wears down the rock. You say waiting for love takes too long. It's so the sharp mind, weak and too strong. Well, you may be right, but you may be wrong. 'Cause love can make a mountain come tumbling down. Love is the water that wears down the rock. Love is the water that wears down the rock. It's the power. Love is the power that won't be stopped. Love is the water that wears down the rock. A river washes over every soul in the land. Put your feet in the gravel, get the mud in your hands. 'Cause nothing can stand against the love command. Every boulder turns into a grain of sand. One more time. Love is the water that wears down the rock. Love is the water that wears down the rock. The power. Love is the power that won't be stopped. I'm telling you, love is the water that wears down the rock. Big finish. Love is the water that wears down the rock.
Beautiful. As always, beautiful. Thank you, Leah. Now is the time to bless the donations that are shared today. At CSL Leesburg, we believe in the law of circulation. So we are a tithing community. The donations shared with our center bless everyone, those who give and those who receive. Your donation helps our center, our CLS home organization, as well as organizations that support our vision of helping to create a world that works for everyone. Please look at your screen. There are many ways to give. It's easy to find a way that works best for you. You may also go to our website, cslleesburg.org, and click the donate button. We thank you for your support. No matter how you are giving, take that gift, physically or mentally, place it over your heart, and join us in our affirmation of oneness. The presence of spirit within me blesses everyone I meet, tends to heal everything I touch, brings gladness into the life of everyone I contact. Therefore, I am a blessing to myself, humankind, and to the day in which I live. Time for some announcements. So we have on Tuesdays at 9 a.m. the Dream Study. Please join us for that. On Wednesday, we're taking a bit of a break, as we mentioned last week. But when we resume, it will be maybe a new activity. We're not quite sure what we're going to be doing on Wednesdays going forward. So keep an eye out for that. And then we wanted to speak about our upcoming picnic. We're going to be celebrating our 10th anniversary. So please come join us for the picnic on September 24th from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I'm not from the area, so I'm not very familiar. But I'm gonna be there. I'm planning to be there. Seems like my internet is unstable. Does it sound okay?
Yeah, it's going in and out. You're good. Go ahead.
Okay. So yeah, please come join us for a picnic celebration of our 10 years together. There's a suggested love offering of $15 per person. And that's it paid for in advance by PayPal or Cash App. Otherwise, if done at the gate or at the venue, it'll be $20. Kids are free. More information will be sent via Evite. So look out for that. And don't forget, put it on your calendar, September 24th from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Yay.
Right. So let's do our closing affirmation. Everybody give a little stretch. We made it through. And we know that I am love. Say it all together. Yes.
I am love.
I am love. You are love.
You are love.
And everyone together. It's all love.
It's all love.
Excellent.
So join us on Zoom if you want. Okay, thanks.